If you want to have an amazing conversation with your teens about truth, this video is for you. Hey there you guys, Jason H. Tucker here, creator of the Way of Yahweh webcomic, and in this video we're going to talk about the concept of truth. Is it real? Is it fabricated? Is it objective? Is it personal? Is it internal? Is it external? We're about to go in. But before we dive in on all of the cool conversational details, let's begin with who Liv is as a character. At first glance, Olivia Trace is just your average teenage girl with a tight group of friends and an awkward high school crush. After dinner and homework, however, she can be found searching through the shadows of Halcyon City as the ill-famed conspiracy theorist Skylar, determined to expose a deadly magnetic threat no one sees coming. Will Liv be able to expose the truth before it's too late, or does a deeper truth lie ahead? Now, spoiler alert, we're about to dive deep into Liv's first episode, Fracture Theory. So let's dive in. After 100 years of earthquakes have destroyed much of the world that we know today, the last remnants of humanity have taken refuge in the sky. A place called Halcyon City, built using an advanced magnetic technology known as ferrotech. A city that was nearly destroyed 10 years earlier by a devastating accident called the Anomaly. Right out of the gate, we find Liv doing Liv-like things, which is basically being where she shouldn't be. But Liv is an investigator. So under the guise of her alter ego, Skylar, she goes in search of something that shouldn't exist, an anomaly. You see, all the adults in Halcyon City believe that the anomaly that nearly destroyed the last city on Earth was just that, an anomaly. And sure enough, in the shadows of this mysterious graveyard, she finds another anomaly. Suddenly, the anomaly begins to erupt, and she barely makes it out of there with her life. And while dozing off in class the next day, Liv finds herself seemingly the only one willing to tell the truth. In an intense conversation with her mom, Liv is given devastating news. She's being yanked out of her school and thrust into a new one clear across town tomorrow, all because of what she did the night before. And right in the midst of a heated argument, Liv and her mom get in a massive car accident because of a magnetic traffic disc that malfunctioned in the road. And as Liv pieces together all of the crazy events that have taken place in the last 24 hours, she realizes that her mother is part of the cover-up too. And as you enter the guild experience, you're going to have several questions that you can walk through with your teens that all revolve around the concept of truth. And we call it a guild because as you go through these questions with your group, you're going to be asked to agree with one another and decide collectively on what choices should be made. So now that you've finished Liv's first story and you've walked through the guild experience, you've had a bunch of conversations and debates around what should happen and how do we all agree on this stuff, now you're ready to dive deeper into the life application side of this. What does God say about the concept of truth? How does all the story stuff that we just read connect to real life application? We've said it before, but we create the content, you create the conversation. So whether you be a youth pastor, a parent, a mentor, Christian educator, this is where you're able to take what we've created and leap into real substantive conversations. So I feel like the conversation that we're starting here is really not so much defining truth and who is true. I mean, the Bible has some really rich things to say about that, but we're starting even several rungs below that, which is truth even a thing? Is truth real? Is it a construct that people have fabricated, in which case it's not really real? Or is it real? And if it is it worth pursuing? So one of the things I would recommend starting with is just a real secular, super secular, we're about to do a Google search on what the actual definition of truth is. And here's what it says: the quality or state of being true, that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality, a fact or belief that is accepted as true. Okay, so that's what we got from Google. So now let's dive into what we see God says about truth as it relates to the biblical text. And so we have 3 points. Truth is loving. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-6. Truth is hard. John 18, 37. Truth is eternal. Psalms 119, 160. Jump off passage 1. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. So if you've ever been to a wedding, you've probably heard that passage before. It's a beautiful passage. But the thing that stands out within that in the context of truth is that love, the action, love in action, has a foundational understanding of what is true underneath it. And the action and the expression, the movement of love towards other people almost requires that. Jump off passage 2. "You are a king then," said Pilate. Jesus answered, "You say that I am a king. In fact, the reason I was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." And so for all of us who are on the path of, or interested in the path of trying to understand what is true about the human experience, Jesus is making a really strong claim about who he is in the relationship to that pursuit. And he's saying, I'm on the side of the things that are true. I can help you get clarity on that. And if you're not with me, then you're not going to find what is truthful. I don't know, but it's hard. Just as a human being, Jesus is a hard figure when he says stuff like this, because he doesn't leave a whole lot of wiggle room around who we are in our relation to what he's saying about himself and his role in reality. Jump off passage 3. All your words are true. All your righteous laws are eternal. So the thing that comes to mind when I read this passage is that when a thing is true, as defined by God, like it just is what it is, not as a snapshot today, but like eternally. And in a world where all kind of stuff is transient and not really as stable as we would probably all like, there's something really encouraging about that. So one of the things we want to do is really create a space where it's honoring to all the different worldviews that your teens may bring to this conversation. Some of them are going to be really anchored in their faith. Some are going to be kind of like, I'm not sure about all of this, but some of it I kind of believe. And others are going to be like, I don't buy any of it. And so I would give space and honor those questions. Like those doubts are good, man. It's good to have real doubts and like sit with your faith and not have all the questions answered out and sorted out in your mind, but you're still there. So we want to make sure you have everything you need to have rich, deep, anchoring conversations with your teens about the concept of truth. So down in the description, there's a link to purchase, as well as a link to schedule a free demo if you have additional questions on how to use this product. Thank you and God bless.